What is fake news and what is not?
Fake news.
Is that fake news too?
Also comes lies, hoaxes, and other fake news stories.
The rapid and pervasive spread of fake news.
Fake news stories.
Misinformation and so-called fake news continues to be rapidly distributed on the internet.
That is a lot of fake news back there.
The fake news era was born.
It's likely you're looking at fake news.
You know they've got a point. Fake news. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has talked about fake news or seen fake news like on their phone screen or TV screen like 100,000 times over the past 4 years. It feels like everything we've seen fake news, that either actual misinformation or people trying to prevent the spread of misinformation or educate others about how dangerous misinformation is. I'm by far not the first person to make a video on fake news, that's for sure. It's also had quite the impact on a lot of different things. A lot. And now you may say how and why. And to answer the latter real quick, money. That's the why. Money and pushing agendas for the most part. Now, the former. Now, social media is widely believed as the reason behind how all this misinformation was able to be spread so virally, and widely believed by people due to their viewing habits on social media. They're rather in a state of wanting to be entertained rather than informed, so they think less critically about things and are more susceptible to being tricked. I wanted to say tricked and duped, and it came out trooped. Some of these headlines are downright laughable, and the fact that people believed them, kind of sad. You think that you may be good at spotting fake news, but as a general consensus, the numbers say different. And you know what they say about the numbers? They often tell the truth, except for 7, because we know what you did, 7. We know what you did. So to cut to the chase, we know fake news has been widely talked about, and we know that it's still a major issue. How do we resolve it? That's where we're going to be looking at some important data. This data was published in the Journal of Management Information Systems. Just the perfect spare time read, just whenever you got just a few hours to kill, you can just cuddle up with this one. Their study examines a possible solution to this spread of misinformation, and that is by using source ratings. Yeah, source ratings. They're like the normal ratings that you use for virtually everything else in your life, but this time for the news. This study takes a look at just that by examining the main 3 forms of online rating systems, and it examines how people reacted to those types by introducing them to online news. It reviewed reactions to expert ratings as well as user ratings of individual articles, and a combination of both of those ratings to make an overall source reliability rating. Several interesting items. The first of which being that when people saw a post that was, or an individual article that had a very highly rated expert or user opinion, they mostly didn't engage with the ratings or think critically about it at all, really. I don't really engage with every review or think critically about every Amazon purchase I make, as long as it's got a 4 stars or higher rating or something like that. But that is probably a bad thing, because that's how you end up with packing foam disguised as acoustic foam. They're not the same. There's one piece of evidence that really isn't shocking about this study, but it just kind of proves our point. The data revealed that a large amount of users who saw an overall low score, whenever they did see that occasional low score, they did engage with the ratings, and they mostly just avoided the content overall. Which, again, seems like, duh, that's what you mainly do. Whenever you see something low rated on, Amazon, you kind of avoid it. Or when I see that the upcoming release, The Jesus Rolls, has an overall 19% on Rotten Tomatoes, I realize that I probably should not catch that one in theaters. Also, that movie poster just presents so many questions. But in all seriousness, that last piece of data, it really kind of proves our overall point. In closing, I think this is a solid indicator that source and overall article ratings and just that type of user and expert rating system for news content is a very effective method of preventing the spread of fake news online and especially on social media. And while there are still possible errors with this study, it was mainly done by online surveys on news outlets. So you have, just the different variability as well as human error also possible. The researchers and journal attached to the study seem very credible, and all the sources are listed in the description below. Now, I guess it's time to go ahead and end this. So, thanks.